What truly makes a life meaningful? And how will you measure your life? Clayton M. Christensen explores how we can achieve lasting happiness and success by aligning our personal and professional choices with our values. This is the story of how I began to redefine my goals, rethink my priorities, and create a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. By questioning my assumptions and adopting a deliberate approach, I learned that a meaningful life requires intentionality, courage, and the willingness to continuously align my actions with my values. Christensen begins by asking a profound question. What makes us truly happy? He explains that happiness is not a result of external achievements, but comes from living a life aligned with our values. The chapter emphasizes the importance of being intentional about where we invest our time and energy, as these choices shape our sense of fulfillment over time. I started reflecting on what truly brought me joy. Was I prioritizing fleeting pleasures or focusing on deeper, long-lasting fulfillment? Christensen's insights helped me see the value in nurturing relationships, pursuing meaningful work, and finding joy in the everyday. I began journaling about moments of gratitude and identifying areas where I wanted to grow. This practice helped me uncover patterns and understand what truly mattered. This chapter taught me that happiness requires conscious effort. By aligning my daily actions with my core values, I felt a greater sense of peace and satisfaction. I also learned that happiness isn't about eliminating challenges, but about finding purpose and resilience within them. Christensen's message reminded me that true happiness is not about chasing external rewards, but about creating a life that reflects what matters most, one small decision at a time. Christensen uses the concept of resource allocation to illustrate how our choices reflect our priorities. He argues that where we spend our time, energy, and money shows what truly matters to us, and sometimes this doesn't align with what we say we value. The mismatch often results in regret and missed opportunities for deeper connections and satisfaction. I began analyzing how I spent my resources. Was I dedicating time to the people and activities that mattered most, or was I letting work and distractions take over? This exercise revealed areas where my actions didn't match my values. For example, I realized I wasn't spending enough quality time with loved ones despite valuing those relationships. Similarly, I noticed that I was allocating too much energy to tasks that didn't align with my long-term goals. Christensen's lesson encouraged me to make deliberate changes. I started blocking out time for family and friends, setting boundaries at work, and creating a budget that aligned with my goals. These adjustments required discipline, but brought immense rewards in terms of satisfaction and balance. This chapter taught me that our resources are finite, and investing them wisely is key to building a fulfilling life. By realigning my resource allocation, I began to feel more in control and at peace with my decisions. In this chapter, Christensen introduces the idea of the job to be done. He explains that understanding the underlying needs or goals we're trying to fulfill can lead to better decisions, both personally and professionally. By identifying the true purpose behind our choices, we can ensure they align with our values and aspirations. I began applying this concept by asking myself, what am I really trying to accomplish? For instance, when I felt dissatisfied at work, I realized it wasn't about the tasks themselves, but about a lack of purpose and growth opportunities. This insight led me to seek projects that aligned with my interests and values. Similarly, I applied the job to be done framework to my relationships, asking what I hope to gain or contribute in each interaction. This chapter taught me that identifying the job behind our choices helps us find more effective and fulfilling solutions. By understanding what truly motivates me, I could make changes that brought greater satisfaction and clarity to my life. Christensen's insights encouraged me to dig deeper into my intentions and create strategies that addressed my core needs and desires. Christensen emphasizes that relationships are the foundation of a meaningful life. He argues that investing time and effort into nurturing relationships with family, friends, and colleagues is essential for long-term happiness and success. Without strong connections, even the greatest achievements can feel hollow. I began prioritizing my relationships by scheduling regular check-ins with loved ones and being more present during our interactions. Whether it was a phone call, a shared meal, or simply listening attentively, these small actions strengthened my connections. I also worked on improving communication and resolving conflicts constructively, which deepened trust and understanding. This chapter reminded me that relationships require consistent care and attention. Christensen's insights helped me see the value of investing in people and creating a support system that enriched my life. By focusing on building strong relationships, I found a deeper sense of belonging and joy. Over time, I noticed how these connections became a source of strength and comfort, helping me navigate challenges with greater ease. One of the most powerful messages in the book is the importance of living in alignment with your values. Christensen explains that compromising on our principles, even in small ways, can lead to regret and dissatisfaction over time. Integrity, he argues, is the cornerstone of a meaningful life. I reflected on moments where I had strayed from my values and the impact it had on my sense of self. To prevent this, I started setting clear boundaries and making decisions that honored my beliefs. For instance, I chose to prioritize ethical practices at work, even if it meant taking a longer or more challenging path. These decisions, though sometimes difficult, brought a sense of pride and fulfillment. This chapter taught me that staying true to my values was essential for building a life I could be proud of. Christensen's insights reminded me that integrity is not negotiable and that living authentically brings a profound sense of fulfillment. By committing to my principles, I found clarity and confidence in my choices, knowing they reflected my true self. Christensen warns against the dangers of marginal thinking, the idea that small compromises won't have significant consequences. He argues that these small decisions can accumulate and lead to unintended outcomes, eroding our values and goals over time. I began examining areas where I was rationalizing small compromises, such as skipping workouts or procrastinating on important tasks. By addressing these habits, I started making more intentional choices that aligned with my long-term goals. For example, I replaced late-night distractions with mindful evening routines that supported my well-being. This chapter reminded me that every decision matters. Christensen's lesson encouraged me to approach my choices with greater awareness and accountability, ensuring that my actions reflected my values and priorities. By resisting the lure of marginal thinking, I stayed focused on the bigger picture and felt more aligned with my purpose. In the final chapter, Christensen challenges readers to define what success means to them. He emphasizes that success is deeply personal and should be measured by the impact we have on others and the fulfillment we feel in our own lives. True success, he argues, is about creating a legacy that reflects our values and contributions. I began crafting my own definition of success, focusing on factors like meaningful relationships, personal growth, and contributing to my community. This exercise helped me set clearer goals and make choices that aligned with my vision of a successful life. I also reflected on the importance of balance, ensuring that my pursuit of success didn't come at the expense of my well-being or relationships. This chapter taught me that success isn't about external validation, but about living a life that feels true to who you are. Christensen's insights inspired me to create a roadmap for success that prioritized happiness, purpose, and connection. By defining success on my own terms, I found greater clarity and motivation to pursue a life that resonated with my values. How will you measure your life? Taught me that living a meaningful life requires intentionality, integrity, and a focus on what truly matters. By aligning my choices with my values, nurturing relationships, and defining success on my own terms, I began creating a life of fulfillment and joy. How will you measure your life? Remember, the answers lie in the small, deliberate actions you take each day to honor your purpose and values. Every choice you make shapes the legacy you leave behind, making each moment an opportunity to live with intention and authenticity.